I'm quitting my job and all my responsibilities. I'm off to live in the woods and read my books. And let's see what we get. That one has a hand. Are you joking me? September is kind of like my warm-up to autumn. Maybe I will give it a go. Today we are going to be using my trusty TBR jar to pick out my September reading list. And I am so excited for this one. I'm an autumn boy through and through. September and October are my favourite months of the year. And they're also the months that I get the most reading done. So I'm very, very excited to be picking out this TBR with you here today. First point of order that we need to discuss is the fact that I'm recording this at night. Yes, it is evening time. The evenings are drawing in very quickly here in the UK, which I love. It's getting cozier, but having to film after work means we've got to get a good setup. Now, I've got some false candles and some fairy lights on the way to kind of decorate this backdrop, but I hope the quality's okay. I hope all that is top notch for you. Now, let's quickly recap last month. Now, I'm going to do a video on my Instagram sort of recapping all of my reads, but very, very quickly, each month I make a short list of 6 books. I will never ever read 6 books unless it is a crazy month that I'm reading loads of short books. I am a very slow reader, self-confessed, very proud, but I only make a list of 6 books because I like not having to make too many decisions during the month, okay? I get a lot of decision fatigue, and when I put a book down and I finished a book, choosing my next read is really, really tricky for me. So I like having a bit of a short list of 6 books that I can pick and choose from, if that makes sense. So today we are here to curate the short list, but of the 6 books I picked out last month, I actually managed to read 3 of them, but I finished 4 books in the month. So I kind of went off course just by 1 book. Like I said, there will be a full reading wrap up on my Instagram account, but I'm very, very happy with 4 books. I feel like that's really good for me. They weren't the chunkiest books in the world, but they also weren't the slimmest. I dedicated a lot of time to reading in August because I had quite a bit of time off work, so it was nice to tick off quite a few exciting books on my TBR, but that means the books that were left unread are going to go back onto the TBR shelves. They are back in the mix. I could pick them again if I do want to read them, but maybe I'll come around to them again next year or in a couple of months. Who knows? So let's get this TBR jar out. Let's pick some books and let's just have a good time. Ooh, if you've not been here before, my TBR jar, let me tell you about it. I don't have just a list of books in here. That is not the case. I have a list of prompts that allow me to shop my bookshelves. Instead of just having like an author's name or the title of a book, I have things like the author's name must start with a B, or the front cover must have a face on it. Things like that. Fun little things that help me just explore my bookshelves a bit, get to know the books that are currently on there, and just have a little look, basically. Now, in September, there is 1 book that I am very, very excited for. Hopefully, it will come up, but I don't own it yet because it's not out yet. Taipei Story by R.F. Kuang is coming out, so no matter what, I will be reading that book. Will I be picking a prompt for it? If a prompt fits, sure, but I don't care. I'm reading that book no matter what. We're still going to pick out 6 books, but that book is definitely going on my reading list. Now, there is another book coming out in September that I'm very excited for, but I don't think I'll read it in that month, and that is Hollywood Ending by John Green. It comes out right at the end of September, but I will probably save that for October, in all honesty with you. But we're getting into peak season of book releases, and I'm just so excited. What else do I have to tell you about September? Oh, I'm going on holiday. Yes, I'm going on holiday. I'm very excited. I am going to Italy for a full week. Yes, we are going to Lake Garda. Well, we're flying from Manchester to Verona, and then we're going from Verona to Lake Garda, spending 4 nights in Lake Garda, going back into the city of Verona to spend 3 nights. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a lot of time to read my books, which I'm excited for. There's going to be a lot of ferries, a lot of plane time, which I love reading on a plane. It's my favourite thing in the world. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk of reading done on those holidays, but in the same breath, I hate taking big physical books on holiday with me. So I might take a Kindle, but we'll see. We'll see what we get up to. Well, in fact, we'll see what the jar brings us, okay? So without further ado, I hope you're sat comfortably. I hope you've got some cozy fireplace on in the background. I hope you've got a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I hope you've got a little snack plate, because we're just going to sit, pick out some books, talk about books, have a cozy old time. I hope the backdrop and the quality is all good for you. I'm very nervous about that, but we should be good. For the next video, it's all going to be sorted and it's going to look gorgeous. Let me tell you that. It is going to look gorgeous. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kenny. It's lovely to meet you. please consider subscribing. We're fairly new to YouTube still, but we're having such a good time. I'm being consistent with it. I'm having a good giggle, so I would love to have you here. But let's give the chart a shake and pick out our first prompt. Okay, here we go. The first prompt we have today is pick a book over 400 pages. I think we had that one last time, so I'm going to give this one a better shake, but we're still going to use that prompt. Pick a book over 400 pages. What big old tomes am I going to get through this month? Which is slightly annoying because I hate taking massive books on holiday. So already we're not getting to a good start, but let's have a little browse and see what we can spot. Okay, we've got a few options. Maybe this one. No, I've spoken about this one a lot. I do want to read this one. I've actually picked out a reread, but hear me out. There's a reason why I've picked this reread out. It's because I want to read the whole series basically, and I'm in a position where I'm ready to start a new series, and that is, it's going to be a big month for this author for me, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I've read this book. I loved this book, but I lost steam for the rest of the series. I just think I got basically distracted. So I've been meaning to basically complete R.F. Kuang's work because Babel is one of my favorite books of all time. I think it's my second favorite book of all time. I loved Yellowface. I loved Catabasis last year. Type A Story's coming out. I'm going to read it immediately. She is one of my auto buy and auto read authors from the 3 books that I've read, but I've not read her big trilogy. I've read this one, never continued on, but I don't remember all that much, so I think it is definitely worth me rereading this book so I can go ahead and read the rest. I haven't even checked if it's over 400 pages, but I've got a sneaky suspicion it's 520. We're good. Let me tell you a little bit about the Poppy War. It follows the story of Rin, who aces an exam called the Keju. This is basically a test to find the most gifted and talented students in the whole of the Nikara Empire. But she is basically a peasant girl from the south. She is not meant to make it into this elite military school. So it has that academic element to it. I know there's a lot of academic rivals. There's a lot of teaching, there is a lot of that kind of like exam stress and pressure, which I love reading about. I love it. I love dark academia, and this is more fantasy academia, but I still love that. However, in the background there is a war bubbling up between different empires, which quickly becomes part of the sort of main arc of the story. This is about war, this is about political pressures, this is about academic rivalries, this is about socio-political kind of positions, this is about class systems. So much is going on in this book, and it's so good. And I just think the next 4 months I'm going to read this series and love it. So very excitingly, I am adding this onto my TBR for September. Feels like a fantasy month. It does feel like a fantasy month, and I don't actually have all that much fantasy on my shelves, but hopefully we can change that. We can change that in the next few months. September is kind of like my warm up to autumn. October is where it's at, people. Oh, I have big plans for October. Just you wait. Okay, let's give this jar a proper good shake this time. And I'm going to go right to the bottom, I think, just to try and find one that we've not done before. If you were here for last month, you'll remember that we had a big issue trying to find a certain letter. I think the letter we got was Q, and the author's name had to start with a Q, and I had nothing. So hopefully we get a fun, awkward one like that again. Maybe not that awkward though. Okay, so this one, let's see. It says, pick a book with no people on the cover. Ooh, so no people at all on the cover. This cover has to be bare bones, or it has to be animals or words or who knows what. Right, let's consult the bookshelves. That one has a hand, so I'm not going to count it because a hand is a person, right? It's part of a person. Found one. This is exciting. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be a good month. The book I've picked out that has no people on the cover. Let me triple check. I think I'm good. Ooh, The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I love a thriller, especially in early autumn. Like, thrillers are my jam. I read a thriller last month. Again, go and watch my sort of monthly wrap up, but it's right here, so I'll tell you about it. I read It Could Have Been Her by Lisa Jewell last month, and it just reminded me how much I love a psychological thriller. And Riley Sager is very, very good at it. Right at the start of this year, I'm talking like January 3rd, in one day I read Survive the Night, which is not very slow reader of me, but it's a short book. It reads super fast, and I literally sat from 10 a.m. till midnight, I think, reading this book. But It was so good. So I was in Oxford earlier this year and I saw a Riley Sager book for a really good price. And I thought, you're coming home with me. I know nothing about this book, so let me have a little read about it. You do a little synopsis together. So it says here, what lies beneath the surface will always remain hidden. Casey Fletcher has escaped to her family's lake house for peace and quiet to mourn her late husband. When the glamorous couple across the lake catch her attention, she's mesmerized. They're perfect, just like Casey and her husband used to be. But is anyone what they seem? Is Casey as perfect as she thinks? Oh, it gets even better below that, people. It gets even better. It says here, she has a detective sat at her kitchen table. T. She has a man bound and gagged upstairs. T. She is about to uncover a dark truth so life-changing that nothing will ever be the same again. I'm picking this up. I am going to take this on holiday with me. This is a plain read if ever I have seen one. I'm going to be sat by that Italian lake reading about this poor woman and her crazy life on the lake with the glamorous couple. This is absolutely a holiday read for me. A psychological thriller. How many pages are we talking? 340. Delicioso. Brilliant. I'm very excited for this one. Riley Sager, I'm going to read a few more of her thrillers if I enjoyed this one, because if we go 2 for 2, I do this with thriller authors, let me tell you. I did this with Ruth Ware. I read One by One, 5 stars. I read The Lion Game. I think I gave that one 5 stars. And then after that, I marathoned every single one of her books, bar one. And I love Ruth Ware. She brought out a new book recently because I need to know, but today we're talking about Riley Sager. I'm excited for this. I love a thriller book, so I think this little psychological thriller will be a perfect holiday read. First of all, that is already a chunky bloody stack, that, isn't it? We're already like nearly 1,000 pages, but what can you do? Let's go back to the jar, give it a shake, and get our third book for the month of September. Give it a good shake, people. I want a challenging prompt this time. Those two have been too easy. I'm flying through this. Look at me go. Look at me soar. Okay, I've got one in my hand. It says, oh, I've just ripped it in half. Brilliant. Are you joking me? Are you joking me? It says, you probably won't be able to see it very well because I've torn the first half off. Pick the longest book on your TBR. Pick the longest book, Kenny, on your TBR. You're going on holiday for a week. Oh, good for you. Yeah, pick the longest book. Remember, I don't have to read these, but this is what it's about, shopping your bookshelves, because this month I would have never thought about this book. I know exactly what book I'm going for. I can see it behind me because it's massive. But yeah, I would not have even considered this book, but it kind of fits the season. I do not have time to read this book this month though, but here we go. Let me get it for you. It's heavy. I'm not even strong enough to lift it. It by Stephen King. Lord have mercy on my soul. 1,400 pages. 1,400 pages. This book is redonkulous. Maybe I can read this in stints. Maybe I can read this in chunks. Definitely audiobook to help me out, but this is not going to fit in my hand luggage. We're flying with Jet 2. That is all I'm allowed to bring for a week. That's it. And the weight is 3 times what I'm allowed. They would cost me hundreds of pounds to take this on the plane with me. Oh, Lord. Stephen King's It. It is huge. It is massive. It is quite frightening. So we know it is about the scary clown called Pennywise, but let's do a little bit more of a deep dive. It says here, it is the children who see and feel what makes the small town of Derry so horribly different. In the storm drains, in the sewers, it lurks, taking on the shape of every nightmare, each one's deepest dread. Sometimes it reaches up, seizing, tearing, killing. Time passes, and now the children grow up, move away and forget, until they are called back once more to confront it as it stirs and coils in the sullen depths of their memories, reaching up again to make their past nightmares a terrible present reality. Oh, it does sound good though, doesn't it? Oh, it does sound good, doesn't it? Look at this creepy cover of like the sky and then just the little clown or the child with the balloons. Ookie spooky, megalamookie, ding dang dookie. See, again, I would never have considered reading this month, but the more I think about it, the more I'm drawn to it. Like, how exciting would it be to read it and say I read it. Maybe I will give it a go. I can read this in chunks. Like I said, I can read this in 400-page chunks and like treat that as like a novel. Find the key points, the key sort of breakers, and make it more digestible for a slow reader like myself, because this is like a year's worth of reading for me, let's be honest. I'm very excited. Stephen King's It is going on the TBR, people. It's going on. There's nothing I can do. It's going on. Right, we are halfway through the TBR. I realise I am absolutely lollygagging today. I am yapping away, but let's speed this up for the last three. Give it a good old shake. Let's have a deep dive in here and see what we get. Picked one. Okay, this one says, pick a standalone book. A standalone. I feel like everything is serialized at the minute, so a standalone will be a good shout, but let's think about a standalone that I can actually take on holiday. Now, I would have loved to have read this book right here, but it's not a standalone. That's a standalone, but I'm between two here. They both feel like reads for this time of year, but I'm going to go with the one that feels more holiday size appropriate. And also one of the most best books of the 21st century. I think that's the list I saw this on and the reason why I bought it. And that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This book is beloved. It has been called one of the best books of the 21st century, which is a wild statement. Like, how crazy is that? And I've been meaning to read it for absolutely years. I bought it earlier on this year when I did a shop of iconic novels that I want to get to. In fact, it was on that as well, alongside... what other books were on that list when I bought it? The Little Friend by Donna Tartt was definitely on that list. The Goldfinch was on that list, and I read that and I loved it. Shuggie Bain was on that list, I think. Just a collection of really sort of classically loved novels from the 21st century and slightly before. But Emily St. John Mandel, she also has a new book coming out, which, again, I said I really want to read her work before this new one comes out, because I know it's going to be huge. I know I already want to read it. I've read the synopsis. But this is Station 11. Let me tell you what it's about. What was lost in the collapse? Almost everything. Almost everyone, but there is still such beauty. One snowy night in Toronto, famous actor Arthur Leander dies on stage whilst performing the role of a lifetime. That same evening, a deadly virus touches down in North America. The world will never be the same again. It says here, visually stunning, dreamily atmospheric, and impressively gripping. Yes, please. I now remember why I didn't read this sooner, because it's about a virus spreading, and that is a little bit triggering for everybody involved, really, isn't it? I love an apocalypse novel. The Road by Cormac McCarthy was also in the list when I bought this, and I adored that book. I gave that book 5 stars. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So if it's anything like that in terms of how iconic it is, because that book was also on that list of top 100 books of the 21st century, like in the top 10. So this was alongside that. So I'm hoping I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I know it's a modern classic. I wanted to read it forever. I'm very, very excited. This could be a goodie, people. This could be a goodie. Okay, it's going on the list. Oh my goodness me, this is an absolute stack already, but we've still got 2 more books to add to the list. Still got 2 more. Let's give it a shake. Another interesting fact is no repeats yet. So the books that I didn't get to last month, pushing myself to get to this month, but also some of them, the prompts haven't really allowed, but that's okay. Right. Here we go. The 5th prompt for my September reads is, gorgeous. Oh, that is an absolute treat. You're all going to be chuffed for this, I hope. It just says, pick an audiobook. Pick an audiobook. Easy as that, which absolutely suits me right and proper for my holiday. Pick an audiobook. I'm going to pick an audiobook for a book that I own physically and maybe just haven't found the time to pick up physically, but I think I would like to read it. Maybe this is where we get a bit of a repeat. But I also love picking an audiobook for a book that I've read before. A reread on audio can just be gorgeous. Ooh, okay, I picked one. And this is our first repeat from last month, and that is Murder at Mount Fuji by Shizuku Natsuki. A standalone, cozy mystery novel. Feels like a perfect book to read on audiobook. And I feel like this is the perfect time of year to do it. This was on my August TBR, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get to it simply because it doesn't feel like a very August read to me. My August reads have all been fun, upbeat, or thrillery, set in the sun kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. And this one doesn't really fit into it. So, Shizuku Natsuki, the author of this, is heralded as kind of Japan's queen of crime fiction, which is a reason why I picked this up, because I thought that sounds fascinating. I haven't had good luck with my translated fiction this year. I've read a few and just not really enjoyed them, mainly Eurotrash by Christian Cratch. So I'm hoping this reinvigorates my love for translated fiction because it sounds really cool. Let me tell you a bit about it. It says, when American student Jane Prescott is invited to spend the holidays with her classmate Chio, she jumps at the chance to see the new year in at a luxurious mansion at the foot of Mount Fuji. Chio belongs to one of Japan's wealthiest families, headed up by Yohei Grandad Wada. With the whole Wada family gathered and snow falling outside, the festivities are in full swing. That is until Chio bursts into the room, covered in blood, holding a knife and screaming that she has stabbed her grandfather to death. That sounds like an absolute hoot. Very much excited for that. I think this will be great. It says on the front, devilishly clever, Christie-like. I'm going to love this. I just keep having it on my TBRs and not getting to it. And I think having it as an audiobook and having that be the goal to read it as an audiobook will just change my perception of it. It'll feel easier. I can read it on my walks to work and maybe I can have that as my Murder at Mount Fuji time. Do you know what I mean? So Murder at Mount Fuji is once again going on my September TBR. If it is not read in September, I feel bad. I feel bad for Shizuku Natsuki. It's my fault. Don't blame yourself, Shizuku, but it is my fault. However, there's something that's not drawing me enough to just actually pick it up. I love the appeal of it, but I can't bring myself to pick it up. Right, people, the final book. I've been yapping on for nearly half an hour, so I'm going to have to cut this down chip chop. But let's give it a shake and let's see what we get. The last book for September. I've got a few on my list that I really want to get to. A few that I think I will definitely save for October, though, but we'll see. We'll see what this is well folded, so I've not picked this one out ever for as long as I've had the TBR jar. Pick a book from a trilogy. From a trilogy. Ooh. Hey, now, 1 second. Oh, this could do me well here, people. I'm just Googling this just to see. Oh, praise. I've done it. Yes, thank you, please. The TBR jar is on my side today, people. We've championed here. We've absolutely championed. The reason I wasn't sure is because the third book isn't quite out yet, I don't think, unless it is. Oh, you've got to be joking me. The third book in this series comes out in September. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign. We are going to be reading Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. This is the first book in a trilogy that is completed in September. So if I love this, then maybe we can integrate the next 2 books into my next few TBRs. Wouldn't that be a treat now? Hello. But yes, Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. It was on my August TBR. I didn't get to it because I just don't think I was ready to start a new series in August. But I absolutely am ready for September because I've wanted to read this book for so long and I need a Dark Academia hit in September. I've got a lot of reading to do this month. And as a slow reader, I'm quitting my job. I'm quitting my job and all my responsibilities. I'm off to live in the woods and read my books. Doesn't that sound nice? Right. I'm filming at night. Changes a man. I feel delirious. Okay, so let me tell you about Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. It says on the back, welcome to the Ninth House. Galaxy Alex Stern is the most unlikely member of Yale's freshman class. A dropout and the sole survivor of a horrific unsolved crime, Alex was hoping for a fresh start. But her free ride comes with a catch. She has been tasked with monitoring Yale's secret societies, notorious haunts of the rich and powerful. Now, there's a dead girl on campus, and Alex is the only person willing to look deeper, because the societies are far more sinister and extraordinary than anyone ever imagined. I'm just going to have a little shimmy because that sounds amazing. I think my Amazon parcel's here. This book sounds utterly phenomenal. I am so excited to read this. I love Dark Academia. And do you know what I love more than Dark Academia? Dark Academia being read in September. Dark Academia in September. Yes, please. That's all I've got to say. Yes, please. Start of a trilogy. Get it down my neck because I've been waiting to read this book for so long and the only person I'm waiting for is me. And I just keep not picking it up, basically. Well, people. We have 6 books on our list and they are hefty. This is going to be It's a very, very good TBR. Let me tell you that for certain. But it's ambitious. It's ambitious for a slow reader. Let me tell you that. It is ambitious. Let me pick them up. Let me show you. Let's discuss. Core blimey. No hardbacks, interestingly, this month, but an awful lot of paperbacks. Look at it. It is just being obnoxious. Look how big and thick it is. Right. Okay. So as a reminder, let's go through them. We have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This would have also worked for the trilogy one as well, wouldn't it? So the signs were there that The Poppy War was being read. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, a quick psychological thriller. Yes, please. This is definitely coming on holiday with me. Ugh, It by Stephen King. You could shift mountains with this book. This is huge. The longest book on my TBR by a country mile. So I'm excited to maybe get into this. We will see. But in the same breath, it's now or never, isn't it? Ooh, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Another one that I think is definitely going to come on holiday with me for a week. The book that I'm going to be reading via audiobook is Murder at Mount Fuji by Shizuku Natsuki. Very excited for this one. It has been rattling around my TBR for so long and almost making it into my hand to read, but not quite. So an audiobook version will be great. And finally, Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. This is the one that I think I'm most excited for this month. Yeah, I think I am. So that puts Ninth House in very good stead. What a lovely stack of books. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm aware I have been rambling. And next week, my bookshelves behind me and this setup will look so much cuter because my stuff has literally just arrived. If I'd have waited half an hour, you could have had that wonderfulness this week. But unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you wish. And I will see you very, very soon.